Okay, so yes, Maggie Frizanki, you heard me on the child care panel earlier today. So my title is Population Health Coordinator. I also do grants. I also do volunteerism. I just like to call myself Perm Health Libero. I think that's just a better term for my title.
What's that?
Perm Health Libero. You know, if you play volleyball.
Yeah.
I was a swimmer, so I mean, volleyball, you know. Anyway, all right, so we are here to talk to you today about unretiring and reinventing and how to capture our aging workforce back into work, whether that be through a traditional working environment, like you do a job, you get paid, or through volunteerism. And when we started coming up with this terminology of like, what do we call this? Tom Brady is a famous unretiree. He retired and then he went back to work. So that's why you see Tom Brady here at our title slide. So like I said, we're helping employers rethink job opportunities for the 55 plus community through flexible work opportunities and volunteerism. So what have we learned these past few years is that life is worth more than work. Hence the Great American Exit. And then, but people still need to have some sort of social outlet, and for a lot of people that was work. So, you know, we had everybody go home and remote work, and now they're like, well, I miss people, so they come back to work, and it's kind of all of that jazz. So it's really causing this major change in our economy and the way we think about work, and you know, that's why we're all here today, is to rethink work. So before I get too deep into really what I'm here to talk about today, can I have you guys first, if you did not get a handout, raise your hand, because I have handouts available to kind of summarize what I'm talking about today, so you can listen to me talk versus feverishly writing notes. And then also, I just want to take a quick poll in the room so that the examples I give are pertinent to you. So holler out what industries you guys work in the room. Manufacturing. Retail. Nonprofit. Healthcare. Education. Was there another one in that? Government. Okay. Is that everything? Did I cover everybody? All right. Good cross section. So, all right. So my graphic here, I'll explain a little bit. We received a grant to better connect our community to help everybody age well. We started this process digging into, well, what does that even mean for our community? How do we better connect our community to help everybody age well? So we started doing social determinants of health assessments on the patients at Perm Health to figure out, okay, well, where do we start? And for those of you that aren't sure what social determinants of health are, it's your housing, transportation, food, job, marriage, everything that dictates your health outside of your actual health, if that makes any sense. So what we saw was this graph, and I apologize, it's a little small, but the number one need among these patients was physical activity. People are just not getting the exercise they need. The second need was social. They needed some sort of social outlet. They weren't connecting. And again, like we learned in these last few years, people are socially isolated. And if they are socially isolated, they are depressed, their health falls, and then we have chronic disease, and it's just a spinning ball of mess that we create by isolating people. The other piece of this, outside of COVID, we live in rural America where there's limited broadband. You have to travel long distances to get places. If you don't have a driver's license, you're stuck. That's just you. You're on your own island, and that's where, again, we see some of these issues. So, okay, what are we going to do about this? We started asking around in the community, and we stumbled upon this group of women that have kind of become our inspiration for the work we do with Elevate. And so they coined themselves the Wonder Women of the Lakes, and they have fostered a network that they lean on for whatever support they may need. And this group is made up of women that have moved or retired to the area from a metro location to people that have lived here their whole life, and they connected through physical activity and have created this social network where they motivate each other for exercise. They use each other as caregiver support for when they're caring for their aging parents. They have healthy eating classes that they do at each other's houses. They do social outings and much more. This picture you see here, a couple weeks ago, they actually all booked an Airbnb down in Arizona and went down there and then drove pink Jeeps in matching shirts. I don't know about you, but I really want that retirement plan. So they have countless stories of how the connection that they've made in this Wonder Women group has made an impact on their health for the better. So we step back and we're like, how do we make sure everybody gets this connection, gets connected to this network, or gets connected to that thing that helps them support to age well? So they've inspired us to create a pipeline to better connect everyone to a network, much like what they have created for each other, leading us to the creation of the Elevate program. Elevate is creating a hub of opportunities to connect individuals with organizations to address their social needs. So when we were doing all of our research and figuring out what exists out there and what to connect people to, we found out that there are a lot of programs, whether it's downtown businesses or social services or nonprofit organizations or what have you. There are a ton of things that we have right here in our backyards, but nobody knows about them. So instead of creating something new and having yet another program that needs more fundraising and so on and so forth, we are deciding to elevate what already exists. And you as employers have something we want to elevate. So our focus areas for Elevate are resource navigation, event curation, rethink work, and volunteerism. So obviously today I'm just talking about the rethink work and volunteer. I would need another whole half day to talk about the rest of the program because it's really immense. But through these focus areas, Elevate is working on trying to change the narrative on aging to help people realize that we are all aging, because we are, and it's the cool thing to do. And instead of thinking of life in terms of endings, we need to start thinking of in terms of firsts. So what I mean by that is, like, society has built socialization around firsts. You get your first car, you now have the freedom to go socialize with your friends. You get your first job, you now have a new cohort of people that you can work with, and you have the financial freedom to support a social schedule. You have your kids, you then are thrusted into this whole new realm of social opportunity through their activities and their social schedule. And then you retire, and then you end. Like, that's just kind of what society has drummed into our heads, like, oh, you're just done. Okay, bye, have fun. And this is where we need to flip the narrative, because it's not retiring, it's reinventing. We are just starting something new. It is a first. It is a new season for people to embark in, and we need to help people realize they don't have to be done and sit at home by themselves with nothing to do and no social activity. So we know that the population does not want to go back to the Monday through Friday 9 to 5. Like, that's what they left. They were promised that when they turned their retirement age, so they don't want to go back to that. But they do want the social connection that comes with what employers have to offer. And this is where all of you come in. I don't need to tell you about the workforce crisis. That was handled this morning. And you wouldn't be sitting here if I did. So if we want to engage the 55 plus group, or 50 or 45 or whatever time these people decide to be done with their Monday through Friday 9 to 5, we need to make the workforce more enticing for them to come back to. So I'm going to go through some things and try and cater it to the industries I've heard here about some things that you can do in your line of work to help make it more enticing for these people to come back to work. So job sharing and split shift. So this has been teased this morning a little bit, but taking your job, instead of having one full FTE dedicated to one person, could you split it and have it split twice or 3 times or 4 times, and all those people just share those jobs, or that one job altogether, or split the shift? Could somebody do just a 4-hour shift and somebody come and do the second 4-hour shift? Temporary or gig work. You know, it's coming up on the Christmas season. I did hear retail. Is there an opportunity for, you know, you're gonna have more increased hours for shopping, and that's just for that particular point in the year. Could you post out for just covering those extended hours or that one day a week for those seniors or whoever, really? Also, we are in Lakes Country, so temporary and seasonal work is a very popular thing because we have a flood of people here in the warmer months of the year. So could you, instead of hiring a full-time person to cover it all year, could you just hire a temporary person to cover the busy part of the, and it's not proclaiming anything rocket science here, I'm just trying to get you to rethink how you're gonna hire somebody for that position. Phased retirement. I literally just had a conversation about this yesterday. So if somebody's getting to the age where they're in closing on that retirement age when they said they're gonna retire, they're financially set, but they need the insurance to get them to 65. Could you work with your, could you as an employer work with them to cover their health insurance in lieu of a paycheck or some combination of the two to allow them to cut back their hours and start the retirement process before they get to the actual retirement age versus just, nope, I'm done, see you later. Or some sort of combination of benefits and reduced hours and pay just to help them ease out of the workplace, say, or instead of being, nope, hard stop, I'm retired, see you later. Because these are very valued employees. Sometimes they're the people that have been here the longest. How can we just make it, well, okay, you're really valuable. I don't want to lose you quite yet. Could you stick around and come in a day a week to help mentor some new people, or, you know, even work the front desk, answer some phones, act as a substitute in some scenarios, maybe even give them a special project to work on instead of having their full job description to fulfill. Volunteerism. Now, private industry, nonprofit, government, you know, do what you think is fit, but volunteerism is a great way to re-engage this market back into quote-unquote work. Like I mentioned earlier, I have the hospital, and I take care of the hospital employee or volunteers, and I'm seeing this trend like what we're seeing in the workforce. They don't want to be locked into anything special or any hard set times and dates. They want to be flexible, just come in and help when they have time. So how can we rethink that and help people to see that it's the same, volunteerism and workforce? Where was I going with that? Sorry, I lost my train of thought. And the other thing, these people are financially set most of the time, especially if they're retiring to the Lakes area from the metro, and they don't want a paycheck. They just want a social connection. So could you fulfill a job duty with a volunteer versus hiring an actual employee with a wage? The last piece on types of things you can do is standby or substitute. You know, I heard there was some industries here that might have a front desk, and when that front desk person is out sick or they take vacation, could you have somebody that just, you call, hey, this person's gonna be out this day, could you come in and cover the front desk? Or could, you know, we're really busy on Tuesdays, could you just do standby and help us out on this day to just answer phones or do what have you? Just making it really much less of a commitment, but still engaging with you as an employer. The right side that I'm going to go through, these are things that you need to think about when these people are signing up for your jobs that you just worked so hard to create. Like everybody else, they want a flexible schedule. They left the Monday through Friday 9 to 5. They don't want that. They want to pick up when they want. They want to set their schedule, live by their rules. They're done answering to somebody else's schedule. They want their own. This is no shock. This is for everybody. Not just your aging, but you're also your new Gen Z millennials that are coming to the workforce. So you're kind of killing two birds with one stone here. Next piece is your application process. I heard the other day that somebody went to go apply. It was elderly lady that wanted to work a cashier at a retail spot. And the only way she didn't have an email address, and their application was only located online. So when she walked in to go and ask for a job, they're like, oh yeah, you gotta go to this website, and then you gotta fill out this big form, and then you gotta upload all of your resumes, your cover letters, and then you got to input your email address, and we'll be in contact via email in a couple days. And yeah, that didn't work out because it was so difficult for that individual to do that. So here you had somebody that was literally walking into your door willing to work and saying, yep, I can start tomorrow, no problem. But then they're like, yeah, sorry, you gotta go online and do this whole application process and our onboarding process in order to be an employee here. Well, I think they messed up a little bit. So when you're thinking about this demographic, like, what is your application process? If somebody walked in your front door and asked to work for you, what would you say? Could you say, all right, we'll figure out the paperwork later, let's get you started? You know, obviously there's some caveats in that. I know healthcare's got a pretty rigorous background check that inhibits that sometimes, but you know, just thinking about it, like Eric had us do that exercise earlier today about what does your application process look? Is it easy for somebody that doesn't have an email address? I mean, I do have volunteers. I think I have 5 volunteers now that still don't have an email address. And how do you incorporate that into the whole hiring process? The next phase is Social Security limitations. People that are drawing on Social Security have a salary cap, and they cannot go beyond that salary cap, and if they do, they pay taxes through the nose in order to, as violation of working too much and making too much money. So if you only have full-time hours and that's all you're going to offer, you might be missing out on a whole demographic that wants to work but can't because their Social Security limits them from doing so. I tried looking up what the exact Social Security limit number is. It's like this sliding scale that's really confusing. I mean, sorry for the government workers in here, but that was really horrible to dig into the IRS website and figure out what the rules were. So I'm just going to say it's a sliding scale and there's a cap. Most of the time people that are drawing on it know what that cap is, but it is a huge thing. Like, we have people in positions that they're like, nope, I can only work 20 hours a week and I need to be done, otherwise they are paying penalty on it. And in our research, we did come across people that are literally paying the penalty just to work because they are going bug nuts at home and can't handle the social isolation, so they come and work full time. But something to think about when you're putting together positions for this demographic. Forms of payment and health insurance. I'm gonna lump these together. I kind of already briefed on this, but could you do a trade, a barter? You know, I'll give you health insurance if you work 4 hours every day or something like that. Could you, if you offer a membership, could you trade a membership for some hours? I'm on the PAC board too, and we do this for some of our older staff, is we'll offer them a membership in turn to come in and clean for a little bit. That works out really well. So do you have something, or maybe like retail, maybe it's a nice discount or retail credit that you could offer them instead of an actual payment? Just rethinking, it doesn't have to be an exchange of cash, it can be something else that you have to offer. Did I cover everything? I think so. So, and like I said, all of these things are just as attractive to the 55 plus as they are to the Gen Z and millennials. So it's kind of like twofold. All right, so now I'm gonna go into some real life examples and kind of give you an idea of what currently is happening today. So this is Darla. She is a retired kindergarten teacher, and I'm sure she's taught either you or your kids if you are in the Perm area at some point or another. So she's a very famous face in the city of Perm. So she is a retired kindergarten teacher, but she has turned jack of all trades. So she was a gal that wants to stay busy during her retirement, and she's working 3 different flexible jobs and spending the day a week with her grandchildren. So she's working as a barista at the Otter Coffee in Vergas. She's doing catering events at Spanky's. And then she's on the Gobble Up Turkey crew, where they cut up turkeys for Gobble Up Turkey. And if you ever had Gobble Up Turkey, it's really good. So there's that plug for that. But she just loves the flexibility of having her choice and schedule, and then being able to do what she wants to do when she wants to do it. So I know when we were talking with her, the Gobble Up Turkey, they basically throw out a schedule a week in advance saying, hey, what can you work? And they text back, I can work this, and then that's it. There's no hard and fast schedule. There's no on the phone for hours trying to fill the shift. It's just super easy. Yep, got it. Okay, good, done. All right, my next example are Janelle and Julie. So these are two new employees to Perm Living. They are both retired professionals, and they're job sharing a position as resident activity assistants. So their job is literally to go have fun with our residents at Perm Living. And they're doing it by splitting a full-time job, each working 32 hours every pay period. So, and they're having a blast doing it because they literally just get to come and play games and have fun. And I'm like kind of wondering why I'm standing here, why I'm not playing games with the residents. But again, another example of how we've job shared a position that we need for our organization. Next is seasonal gig work. So this is a great pitch to a partnership that we have with a business and Elevate. Is the Goose Group in Perm is hosting a Christmas market, and they reached out to us and asked if we would post, Elevate would post their flexible job opportunity. We posted it and they had 5 applicants after one social media post. So I don't want to like brag about this fully, like this is us, but it was a combination of things. But this is how they're just hosting this Christmas market for a few weekends prior to Christmas, and they just needed somebody to come work it for a few hours once a week. So that's kind of an idea of the seasonal gig work. All right. Next, I'm going to dig more into a little bit of the volunteerism, and again, plug Elevate here a little bit. When we met with those Wonder Women of the Lakes, they're like, we want to volunteer, but we don't know where to find all the volunteer opportunities. And we started thinking about it. I'm like, yeah, you literally have to go to everybody's website and or call somebody to figure out who has a volunteer opportunity, and you have to know exactly what you want to volunteer for, otherwise, good luck, because it's really hard to find, know what you're looking for in this. So we started thinking, and we're like, we need a one-stop shop hub for volunteerism in our community. One place you can go to find all the volunteerism and then link people to opportunities that are in our community. So we got in touch with a software called Helper, and it's an app, and we have started putting all of the volunteerism in northeastern Otter Tail County into one spot. This is what you see here is just a screenshot of it, where you can see it's based on your credential level as a volunteer. So if you're credentialed for healthcare, you can see everything for healthcare. If you're not credentialed for healthcare, you can see other opportunities in the community that you would be. So for example, bingo at the nursing home. You don't have to necessarily be a fully credentialed volunteer, and what I mean by credential, I mean background checked. But you can just come in off the street and play bingo with the residents. We will accept that.
What's the software app called?
Helper. And I have information on the Elevate website on how to get all connected with that. But basically, you just click it, sign up, done, show up. It's not hard, it's super easy. Now for those that aren't in the more northeastern side of Otter Tail County, does your community have a volunteer hub where it's super easy for you to post an opportunity and share it with an entire group of people, and or email list, website? Doesn't have to necessarily be an app like this, but start thinking about where are people going to find some of these opportunities, and work together to find a solution to where if they're going to this place, why don't we post it in this place? Same could be said for jobs. So I have one example of a volunteer So this is Dan. He retired to Lakes area, and then he previously worked for Medtronic. He's a Medtronic professional. He actually traveled the world doing telecommunications for Medtronic, so he's very interesting. I love talking with him. But he just wanted to share his talents with the community and didn't want to be socially isolated. So he reached out and was like, I just want something to do. And so now he's a bingo caller at Perm Living on Tuesdays and a greeter on Thursdays. And it was just like he didn't want to be socially isolated, so he sought out an opportunity that would connect him with people. So this is how volunteerism could be a really good fit. If there's people out there looking, you just got to give them an opportunity to connect with. All right, so now we get to the activate side of the presentation here. So what can you do? If you're leaning more towards the flex work, like assess your job description. Does one person have to do that full job, or could it be split between multiple? What does your application process look like? And I think we were given that homework a little bit earlier, and we all left with some ideas, but think about who would be potentially applying. Do they have an email address? Do they have the ability to access the internet to fill out the application? What would you do if somebody walked off the street and asked for a job? Those things, start to think about some of those things. Also volunteerism, don't forget about it. People really love volunteerism. Even if you are a private industry, you're like, I don't know if we have any volunteer opportunities. Do you have fundraisers that you do to support other nonprofits? Could you have a volunteer come and help with that? We have entities around us that host, like, I know the UCB Bank had the honor flight lunch, where could you have a volunteer come and help with that? It's engaging with your organization, and then guess what? If they engage in that way, you can plug some other jobs, and maybe they've got some family that would come work for you. Just thinking about it in full circle. Also, if you're in the northeastern side of Ottertail County, get a hold of us. We'd love to have your volunteer opportunities in our Helper app, because the more volunteers opportunities we have in there, the more fruitful it is for people to actually go there and find those opportunities. All right. So next steps, stay tuned with us. I think you have that information on your handouts there, but follow us on Facebook. We always have things posting. Again, we're just trying to be a program that connects people to organizations, community events, so on and so forth, for their social needs. Because again, we're elevating what already exists, and you are what already exists. So how do we work together to make this happen? If you have a flexible job opportunity that you want us to help promote, send it to us. We would love to help push it out like we did with the Goose Group and their Christmas market. And then also sign up for our employer newsletter. We will hopefully soon, we're just getting some more staff on board, we hope to create a reverse job board that will help connect people to employers. So instead of somebody filling out an application and sending it to a job, we would have people take a skills and interests assessment, and then we would match them to potential employers. So it's just a little bit backwards of what you would consider. So for example, I know of a gal that is really great and loves to do data entry. So she fills out this skills and interests assessment, and then we could send it to employers that have said, yep, we would love to take somebody that's good in data entry. So that's to come. So that's why you should sign up for the newsletter, so that you can be connected when we roll that out. So some exciting stuff to come. We're just getting off the ground. But at this time, that's all I've got. Do you have any questions?
Is Health the app, is that something that can be spread out throughout Ottertail County?
Helper.
Health.
Yes. That so basically it's just like a volunteer software. For the Elevate piece, we're trying to keep it just northeastern Ottertail County, otherwise it gets a little explosive. But yes, somebody else could take that same app and do the exact same thing that we've done with it on the west side of the county, or for a region or for an employer or what have you. There's just many opportunities for that. We actually just engaged with KLN because they have a volunteer program through their workforce benefits. So we're trying to get all of their employees in there so then they have opportunities to pick up some random volunteer opportunities that exist because it's like a part of their benefit package. So again, just trying to rethink the way we engage with volunteerism across our communities because that is work, essentially. So.
Does that app send alerts? So
yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. It sends alerts, reminders, also push notification, you name it. That's why we went with that one because it was just, we could totally push things to volunteers.
Do you find a lot of people want to volunteer? Because I just think about our church and it's, finding people to do things sometimes.
And that's,
they've got a million things already going on in their life, but like to this group, I mean, I think maybe the requests are going out to the moms and they've got 3 kids and they don't have time to bake cupcakes, where a retiree may have time to make the cupcakes.
Yeah, so twofold. Again, we're creating a hub where everything is located, one-stop shop to look, because people do want to volunteer. The second part of that is we got to think of volunteerism much like we're thinking about jobs. They don't want to lock into a every day a week commitment. They want to help with the one-off. So yes, maybe the mom of 3 kids can't help bake, but could she make a phone call to a donor that could potentially help? And then you just post it simply that way. So just trying to rethink that whole flexible working frame of mind is really where we got to go, whether you're talking Gen Z, millennials, new retirees, volunteers. We have to reframe that flexible schedule and make it easy for people. Oh yeah, I've got a few hours. I can go help serve drinks at happy hour on Thursday afternoon, or I can go do help break leaves Saturday morning. It's really endless, just really taking down, not making such big job descriptions, but minimal job descriptions.
Did you, at Perm Health, did you experiment with split shifts? And if so, did you have a concern about full-time employees scaling back to part-time and taking split shifts? I know it's not Elevate directly, but
it's being explored. I'm going to put it that. I don't think that we've really dove in because of those reasons, but we have. We need to explore it because it's time, as we've heard this morning. Like we need to figure out how we can start doing this and like some of these systems have been in place for so long that it's going to take a lot of effort to actually break them down and get to that point where we can offer those part-time things. And like I said, we really don't have a choice anymore. We have to start thinking about how do we get there and make it more flexible. And then by that, we create a culture that supports the employee. And then hopefully they're stacked up out the door because everybody wants to be a part of your organization because you put them first, if that makes any sense. Did I answer your question?
yes.
Okay.
I think the volunteerism thing is a great thing. I'm reminded that there's this really unique business that just opened up on Main Street. They had a soft opening. It's the gunpowder. Yeah, gunpowder. And I think it's a really innovative product. We had Natalia Bowman behind the bar pouring drinks. I think it would be a really great thing for the city of Fergus Falls to have some sort of volunteerism platform similar to what's available and offered on that Helper app, because I've already seen that need, at least within our community on the west side.
For sure, yeah. I mean, we've gotten the most traction with the Elevate program with that side of it because people are like, yeah, like why didn't I think about it? It's so easy. We just put volunteerism in one spot for the community and we all go and drive people to that one way. Another piece of the program is that I have a RN health coach in the clinic working with patients. So as she's doing that as social determinants of health assessment and finding out that people have a social need, she then works with the community side of Elevate program to connect individuals to that. So a lot of the times the solution is just a volunteer. We connected a gal from the clinic to assisted living where she's now helping put puzzles together with the residents of that assisted living. And it was literally happened because she said, yeah, I'm sick of being socially isolated. okay, well, here's an opportunity, check out our volunteer hub, and we can get you connected to that. So, just,
What methods do you use to find newcomers in a community? We have a lot of seniors that move
Yes.
up here, and you say they're socially isolated, but they might. How do we?
So
reach
what
them?
our approach for this is, because this is a huge problem. I mean, look at the Wonder Women of the Lakes. All of them took the leap to go to this exercise class and continued to be their social support for years now. But not everybody's going to take that first leap to join that physical activity class. So what we're working on creating is an ambassador program and having that warm invite for people. So for example, there's this new class in town that you want to go to, but you don't know anybody, so you're not going to show up. So through the clinic, we found out that they're new to the community. Hey, let me have this ambassador give you a call and invite you, and then they'll take you under their wing and introduce you to everybody, so on and so forth. So there's more to come on that, but really just having somebody to embrace them and make it more personal. And I know I'm really being 10,000 foot level here without trying to get too into the weeds, but the other example that I used, or that we happened the other day was, well, who hasn't been told that they need to do more exercise when they leave the provider's office? And then it stops at the door as you walk out. So instead of doing a prime example of how that ambassador would work, so instead of just letting that person walk out the door, hey, I'm gonna put in a referral to the gym, and somebody from the gym is gonna call you and be like, hey, I hear that you wanna start exercising. Why don't you come on in and I'll show you what opportunities we have and get you connected to what works for you. So I really hope to use that ambassador program to then, and as people establish care in our healthcare clinic, to then connect them to opportunities in our community by a warm handoff. Again, very lofty, try not to get too into the weeds here, this is a really big program, but that's kind of how we hope to address the newcomers that retire to the area and need to be connected.
I just wanted to add too, I mean, Perham Health is in a unique situation because they have people coming into the clinic that are new. But as you think about as employers too, as you have new employees, like, do they have family members that are in the area? Do they have a mom or a dad or grandparents that are from the area and are retired in the area? Like, pose those questions to your employees, pose those questions to who you're connected to. Yeah, it's more work, but we're, like you said, we're at that phase. We have no other choice.
And again, we hope to create the brand awareness with Elevate so that if we do know of those newcomers to the community, hey, check out Elevate's website. They have an events calendar with everything going on in the community. They have some volunteer opportunities that can get you engaged with. There's some flex work to help you do. And then there's also some really cool educations that we're hosting. Carter is teaching technology for seniors, keeping up with the grandkids class coming up in the next week. So tell your friends. But that is kind of like what we hope to have Elevate be, is just that clearinghouse of opportunity in our area. One-stop shop. Okay. What do I do for time?
We've got 3 minutes. Other questions?
How about engaging communities of color? Because Perham has quite a population.
Yeah, so we're trying to get in, and again, this is where the area of development still needs to happen, but we're hoping to tap into the schools a little bit and maybe learn, because I know that they have a DEI club, and I also know that some, like Kaylin has a DEI group of people, to kind of hopefully get in touch with them to then break into their community through their own people, if that makes any sense. Trying to.
Nice segue.
Yeah.
Our next session.
Yeah, that was nice, wasn't it? But yeah, I hope to listen in on the next session to figure out how do you break into that? Because I mean, these groups of people are, we know they're there, and we know, but do you just go start door knocking? Is that, and then trying to balance cultural norms with that, and all of the things that come along with DEI work. So we've got some work to do there yet, but I'm looking for input.
Anyone else have an answer?
You know, one thing I noticed on our website, I thought about it this morning when I pulled up our website. We don't have anybody other than Caucasian people on our website. And I don't know about the rest of I work for Park Region, and we have an amazing marketing group and we have amazing folks, but I'm sure that just didn't hit our radar. And maybe in some of the commercials, but when I think about some of our commercials, they seem like they're all Caucasian as well. So that was something I took away from this, from that marketing perspective of, is someone going to look at my website and feel like they're included, or feel like that we are a welcoming community? Especially for folks that do have to go to this area that are like, there's nobody like me here, or there's very few people like me here, and you want that. So how do you make that happen? So
yeah, absolutely. Well, stay tuned to the next session downstairs, and that's all I have today. So thank you for your time.